At the moment, the All Progressive Congress are preparing for their forthcoming convention, and attention shifting to internal contests, alignments, and ambitions that will shape the party's direction ahead of the next electoral cycle. In Ogun State, for instance, one of the emerging voices in that conversation is former Senator Iyabo Obasanjo, who has declared her intention to run for governor under the APC platform, returning to partisan politics after more than a decade. Her entry into the race comes with bold confidence, despite what she describes as structural and financial disadvantages, and amid renewed debate over zoning, particularly calls for power rotation to Ogun West. She's also stirred political reactions with strong criticisms of a former party, the PDP, while insisting her defection to the APC was driven by conviction, not convenience. She joins us now to discuss the future of open politics, the APC convention, and more. Senator, good morning. Thank you for coming today. Well, a lot is going on in the country, but yes, the convention, the timetable is out, so these things equally have to happen, as it were. But what kind of mindset did you have coming ahead of the convention? Because when you see all kinds of things going on in the country, your party is preparing to see who are those that will steer the ship of state if the country gives them a chance. So how are you able to manage the mindset and still go in and still play partisan politics?
I think for me, the mindset is that we have to make this democracy work. I'm old enough to have lived through several attempted democracies, and this is our longest so far. And I firmly believe that democracy self-corrects over time, and that we have to continue it, because every time we truncate it, or it is truncated, because it's not we the people that that truncates it, it makes the next edition even worse than what we thought we had. So somehow we have to keep this democracy running, and somehow we have to have people come out that have conviction that they will work for the people. And so my mindset is that this democracy is ours, and we have to continue to work within it to make change.
We've heard different people say, well, the political parties can do their thing, another activity, it doesn't really impact our lives, so they're not as enthusiastic as they ought to be, especially when that time comes when they need to go out there and elect those leaders. How do you convince those kind of people to say, look, you actually need to pay attention because this will affect your life one way or the other?
We really do need to convince them, and it is important that everybody, as much as possible, participates. It's that the more you participate, the more you can be part of changing the system, or to changing the system to the one you want to be partake in. So there is no room for disillusionment or apathy in what is going on. The government is ours. Democracy means government of the people, for the people, by the people. We have to continue to participate, no matter how difficult or impossible we feel it is, because once we give up, then it becomes not yours, right? It becomes the few people that participate. So I'm going to say that we have to keep on pushing to get the people we want into government. And so for me, I think that just encouraging people that when you see candidates you think you prefer, come out, be part of that movement, be part of that change, campaign with them or campaign for them, depending on what you can do. Talk about them to your friends and family. I think that is how we move democracy forward. It's that we have to have mass participation.
There's talk that your party, the APC, will adopt the consensus option for those candidates to emerge. If that were to be the case, do you think that system will actually bring up the right people to lead, as it were?
We have already done the consensus yesterday in Lagos for the Southwest Zone. Okay. I was there, and we used the consensus, and there was no there was nothing wrong with it. Everybody voted and affirmed the candidate. I do believe that consensus can bring out the right candidates. Because consensus doesn't mean that leadership ignores the will of the people. Consensus means that they look at what the people are saying. Like no party wants to lose, right? So the party is not going to choose people that opens them for a loss. Does that make sense? So the party is going to choose people that the consensus is going to come towards people that can actually win on the ground, if that makes sense. Because at the end of the day, the party wants to win. So they do not want to put the least popular person in as the consensus candidate in a way that it will aggravate the other participants, and in a way that will discourage people that are popular from participating. So I have full belief that the consensus is the way to go. I can describe it this way. When indirect is used and party officials are the ones that vote. So right now, it's the law that you can only use consensus and direct. Yeah. And direct means all party members will vote, which is very difficult to achieve. The indirect, when only party officials vote.
The delegate format.
The delegates are usually party officials and office holders that are members of the party. The problem with that is that those are easily influenced too, because you know who they are, you can reach out to them, and you can influence what they. So in that case, usually the person with the biggest money bag wins, because that's the person that can see all those individuals and either make promises or give them something to influence them. But when you have all party members, that is a little bit more difficult for anybody with the most money to influence. And when you now have the consensus, that's even almost impossible that the person with the most money to influence, because that is not based on the money you have. It is based on usually who can win on the ground that the party trust will win. And so that's...
Well, people can still lobby as much as possible so that they can say, hey, this consensus group, we want you to vote for me or vote for that person. It still happens.
Of course, there's always lobbying.
There can still be some inducement, isn't it?
Financial, I don't see how you can financially induce a process that everybody has to agree on. So you can lobby. There's always lobbying. The whole part, democracy is about lobbying for what you want. That's the whole process, that you come together as a group and want something, right? Even geographical groups can lobby, trade groups can lobby, any community groups can lobby. So lobbying is part of democracy. Organizing groups to lobby is an essential part of democracy. So that is not... It will happen in whichever of those systems, either the indirect, direct, or even consensus, that people will say, oh, this is who we want. And so, but it is harder because the consensus is not based on money. It's really based on who can win on the ground.
But if, for instance, there happens to be maybe a high-ranking official who is in an elected position coming against somebody who is not in an elected position, chances are that that person who is in an elected position can reach out, or might have reached out, to a group of people, maybe his constituents, much more than the other chap. So wouldn't there be
not necessarily. I think almost all of us in running in any state all across the country, there's always going to be, almost in every contest, there's going to be one person that already has a post. Not always, right?
Would it be an advantage for that person?
Not necessarily, because really, if I trust our people, that's our people, not just the party, but I trust our population. Our population does not vote by who gives them the most money. Now, they vote by who they think will perform, and it is for that agitation for who to perform to get to the ears of the right people. So I don't think it's an advantage, because a lot of people hate the people that are in government, many of the times, not only in this country, it's very easy when people dislike the person that is in government, that is already elected. It's so easy to do that because there's this feeling that, oh, this person is not there serving them. It's not always right, that the incumbent is bad. But if there's a candidate that they think will serve them better than the incumbent, there's no reason that external candidate will not beat an incumbent. It happens all the time, all over the world, that somebody that is not in office beats somebody in a primary that is actually in office, because the sentiment is not that you are in office. There's sometimes that people feel somebody in office has done a bad job.
So, I mean, you have described yourself, saying that you came into the Ogun governorship race a little bit late and perhaps financial constraints. So is this consensus option going to be an advantage for you, or would you have preferred another option?
No, I think it's an advantage for me. I think even the lateness, many of the candidates had said they did not declare they were out, but they've been doing things to say like that indicated they would run. And then because there's still new candidates declaring now for the governorship in Ogun State, much later than I declared. Some of them have not even done anything in terms of really just going to communities and talking about their candidature. For me, I think it's an advantage, because if you have less money to spend, your popularity is what wins. And I feel very confident of my popularity on the ground. My popularity is not based on money inducement. It's based on the performance I had as Commissioner for Health and as a senator. As a senator in my district, everybody still says I performed the best as a senator. You can ask the man on the street, you can go to the marketplace, and that is based on the fact that I do not believe that the high salary I got as a senator was for me. I think we are well paid, we were well paid, we are well paid. If people that are there are still well paid. And part of that payment is to make us serve the people and give back, right? Not just, and it's to do things for them. And I think I did my best in that arena, because I think that is important. And not just that, every way into serve, working for people to get jobs, that is part of my role, is that the people from my constituency can come to me. And many came to me, and I was able to help. Then as commissioner, I was there in Abeokuta, which was why I actually decided to run. And I was doing good every day, because as commissioner for health, we did rural health programs where we went and did surgeries and things for people. We renovated all the hospitals. So I feel confident that my candidature, based on the popularity on the ground and all the zones, I renovated, not me per se, but the state government at that point renovated all the 28 hospitals owned by the state. We repaired ambulances, we hired doctors and nurses. We did a lot in health that is still resonates with the people today. So I do believe my candidature and my emergence as a candidate, and why I'll win, is all my performance, my previous performance, not on money that I can give anybody, because I don't have any.
All right, let me bring in Ayo.
Well, thank you, Chamberlain. Madam, just beg your pardon. It's good to see you, Senator. What happens if party dynamics, goes in the way of a particular consensus candidate that is not you?
Then I have to accept it. Then that is what happens. I would accept it, because the party is superior, and what the party says goes.
Well, okay. Well, I'd like you to please speak to a larger issue here. We hear that the governor in any party, in any state, is the party leader, particularly if the state, if that governor is in a ruling party. And we have also seen that a good number of governors from other political parties have defected to the APC. Now, what would you say would be the effect, particularly in the build-up to this convention of the APC? What would be the effect of those governors who defected into the APC and maybe auspiciously took over the party structures on the convention, on the existing structures of the party structure before they joined and after, particularly how you see that affecting the outcomes of this convention?
I believe every state governor is part of the party leadership. From the time they join the party, whether they change before or before they join the party, but they are part of a leadership. A party cannot have just a single leadership. It has to be teamwork. So each governor, whether they just joined, are joining a system where they automatically become part of that leadership, a significant part of that leadership. But it's not that a single person now becomes the only party leader, which is what you presented. So I think they will join a team of leadership, and decisions will be made along those lines.
Well, there is...
I hope that answers your question.
Yes, partly, but there is party leadership, and then there is party leader. In the case, for instance, of the governor of Adamawa State, we understand that, I mean, the vice president, while at a reception, you know, receiving him last month, we understand that he declared that Fintiri had automatically become the party leader in Adamawa State. That's the background against which I'm asking that question. Do you think it'll have any effect on the party structure, on the loyalty of the members of the party before that? Because that governor is going to come with his own party infrastructure, so to speak.
He will still join part of the structure that is on the ground. His structure will join the structure on the ground. You cannot, and I think, I don't know the details of this particular case of the governor of Adamawa. All I can say is that the governor will join the party leadership that is on the ground. I think the governor might have said that just to impress on people that he is important in the party structure. Maybe there's some internal issues in Adamawa that I don't know about, so I cannot speak to the specifics of that situation in particular.
Now, you said something very fundamental, and I think I'll end, this will be my last question to you. You said something very fundamental about accepting whatever the outcome of the convention is. I'm not sure every member of the APC is going to feel the same way. What, in your opinion, would you advise those who may not be so favored and those who are upset or unhappy with the outcome of the convention and who feel aggrieved? What would be your suggestion to them, and what are the party infrastructure on ground to appease them, should there be the case?
I think you are mixing two things. The convention chooses the party officials, the chairman and the secretary and all that, and we've already done it at the ward level, we've done it at the local government level, we've done it at the state level, and we've done it at the zonal level without any issue. So people have accepted those consensus results, and it's gone on. The second thing that will then come up between April 23rd and May 31st are the primaries, where the contestants will be chosen. If we've been able to do the convention and all the party officials were chosen without rancor, I doubt that the primary is when the rancor will start. It might, I just know my own belief in the system and what I will do. So I cannot speak for other candidates and what they are prepared to do if they are not chosen. But the primaries is different from the convention, and as I'm here, I'm not saying definitely it's going to be consensus, because there are two ways it could go. There can also be direct. But my own belief is that whichever way it's used, I will accept the result of the outcome.
You warned Senator Yayi of opportunistic politics.
No, that was not actually what I said.
Okay,
because what I said, the question was about people moving local government, and we focused, and I said, oh, if you move from one local government to another, and I can't even remember what the exact question is, but I never mentioned Senator Yayi in my answer at all. And okay. I just referenced the fact that if you keep moving local, or if you move local government, there is a fact that you might be looking for the best place to vote from, no, the first place that benefits you. And that is in the context of Ogun State. In Ogun State, especially in my senatorial district, many of us come from there are many local governments you could claim, mostly because traditionally our people were farmers. So they will have farms, and those farms now are in different local government. And then they will have the city, where that is actually their ancestral home, but they've moved out traditionally to farm in other parts of the region. So what you find is that people have their city where they belong to, and then the village where they also belong to. And sometimes people even belong to two villages, because their great-grandfathers or even fathers might have been itinerant farmers farming along the way. So but I believe that once you choose a local government, then you should stick with it. And so it was not a question aimed at Senator Yayi. It was just my answer was based on the question posed to me.
You were in politics, you left, you're coming back in, but there are people who still think politics hasn't really delivered what they expected of them in terms of citizens now. You're coming back in. Why do you think there'll be a difference if you're elected?
I think I am coming back, and it starts with what I did before. I'm coming back in because people came to me and said, we want you back because of what you did before. You are the kind of person that we want in leadership. So that is one. So I'm coming back not because I need anything from the system, but to because it was actually a call that came in waves and from grassroots people, from higher up people, and so I'm answering that call. So that is one. So it's that belief that people actually recognize what I was doing and saw that there was value in it for themselves. And up till now, every meeting I go, every meeting I meet, there's somebody there that stands up and said, I'm not going to pretend I gained from you, and this is what I gained. Either employment, a job opportunity, a contract that you have to give. We did all the renovations we did. It was people from the state that did it. All kinds of other things that people said, oh, you helped me with this, you helped me with that. So my own conviction is that the system is going to work to bring in new good candidates, and even new candidates or people like me that have gone and done other things. And my conviction is based on the fact that I don't have I have a job that I'm doing even still. I teach. I'm going to grade papers tonight, for example. So I think that my ability to give and to be of service is what is uttermost in my mind for doing this. And I think I don't think I'm the only one in this mode. I think there are lots of people there that would like to come into politics, or have come into politics and have been disenfranchised in different ways. But like I said at the beginning, we can't give up, because it's our country. We have to always give it a try and keep working to create change. And I think that was what the people that called me back wanted to do, is that we want to participate. We want to be able to bring candidates that we love and we think will do right, and we're going to participate. And I'm hoping that other places too, people come together to try and do that as part of the democratic process.
All right, Senator Iyabo Obasanjo, governorship aspirant now for Ogun State. Thank you for coming, and all the best to you.
Thank you so much.
All right, well, back in a moment, everyone. Don't go away.